pieces that I would make up that were really short for like high school wind ensemble, but I could never get them played because the teacher always would have the things we're supposed to rehearse for something coming up, and somehow it got lost in translation that some kid just scored the whole thing and copied it all out. And once they tried it, and I think he thought it was ridiculous because I had the percussionist playing with a soft mallet on the heads of the trumpet players who would play the note when they hit him in the head.
So you were crazy from the beginning.
From the beginning, I was crazy. And it's always been the same. And when I write, and when I'm orchestrating, which is something I'm doing more and more of, I still see it the same way as I do record production. Only I take into account the 400 years of how the orchestra is balanced, which is something like a lot of cats don't really study. I think it's really
But you went
important.
to conservatory. Did you go to?
I went to music school for a while. Yeah, I didn't finish. Soon, it's rumored they're going to give me a degree just because. Because why not?
1 credit short? Is that right?
I was a semester short, but I was a semester short of English Lit.
Oh.
So I have kind of a selfish question, and we've been talking these big questions that like professionals would ask you, but I really have a selfish question, which is, your father is still alive, and you wrote a song called "Away When You Were Here," and I really want to know what drove those lyrics, the story behind that song.
That was an interesting one. Well, one I have a lot of, for some reason I seem to have a lot of close friends whose father died when they were roughly the same age. And both my parents, neither one of them ever knew their father. So it's been in my life, but I also just more and more began to think about the moment, should it ever happen, that you realize that you're older than either one of your parents.
And I asked that for a reason. 10 days from now is for me.
Oh, wow. To me, that seems really big. I mean, that's uncharted territory, and that's why I wrote the song. I felt a little bad about it. I had to call my pop up and say, I just killed you off in the song. Showbiz. But no, I think that is, because really, like, that is, when you can find an image in a song, whether it's precisely true to you or not, I'll use it because the image to me more means the unknown. That's really what it is to me. You have someone hold your hand through it all, and then maybe you kind of have something in common because you experience the same age, and then you're past it and you're out there. To me, that was a moving thought, and I wrote the whole song around that last verse precisely for that reason.
That song really means a lot to me.
Oh.
And I didn't mean to come here and cry, but I'm drinking, trying to stop it. So
That's why we feed you alcohol. No, thank you. I mean, actually, it means a lot to me because I can feel easily like a very fraudulent songwriter writing that, which I don't. But no, I've had people say the same thing, and it made me feel like I was glad. I mean, I almost got the song off the album. I was so freaked about having it. I called the other guys in the band, and they were like, maybe we should cut this. I'm feeling kind of weird about it. I'm like, yeah, sure, fine, cut it. And so I was going to, and then I realized we didn't have enough music for the album. I didn't have anything else.
I have a question for you as just an artist personally. When you hit, I guess, writer's block or lose your passion, what do you do to rekindle that? How do you find it?
Yeah, that's tough because when do you find yourself on deadlines? I mean, when you I think there's two probably distinct issues about that. One would be we both write because we have to. That's what we do. But I get penalized severely for not turning mine in on time, which gives me a whole other set of problems and luxuries than possibly someone else has. So, I mean, is this stuff where you're sort of like...
It's just personal.
Yeah, that's harder. That's harder because there has to be, for me, some kind of outside, like I said about not having enough music. I was done. I'd written it, so I had the reality of like, I have to do it on time. I think, first of all, that there isn't really writer's block. I think what there is let's call it the tyranny of the inner critic. It is that you highly suspect that the idea coming down the chute is not good enough. That's what I think it is. I think any kind of block is not really block. It's there. I don't like to recognize it as such. I think that it's just that you don't like your ideas. Now, one thing that I've got that I use is, not as much on this particular tour because it's a request tour, but I always make up a song on stage. You know, rock this bitch, and I've done so many of these like that. And what that does for me is it's a judgment-free zone. I mean, if it's just two notes and it's about where we are, people are gonna be fine with that. I mean, rocket and Dallas, yeah. So it's like you think it's scary, but it's actually. And what that does for me is it shows me that at any given time, you turn the tap on, and an idea comes out. The idea can be anywhere from a nice clear color to a dark brown. And I think that it's important to allow yourself to let the brown out. You've got to be able to be okay with your shitty ideas, because you got it. It's totally fine. I think of musical ideas as sentences, and I think that a sentence is a sentence. It doesn't have, if it's formed as a sentence, maybe it's a sentence on how to change your tires. Not that compelling. Maybe it's a sentence on the cure for cancer. It's more compelling. So it's sort of like you don't know what's in your mind from time to time. It's all valid. If it's a sentence and you mean it, it's valid. Someone gave you a deadline, you had to write something tonight, and you're tearing your hair out. It would end up being so much better than you think. You just have to actually do it. It's like the Nike guys got that. You just have to do it. And embrace the shitty idea. That's hard to do. It's really hard. Even in private, I have a really hard time living with myself for an idea that I don't think is up to snuff. But you know, like one thing that brain studies have shown recently is the conspicuous absence of the part of the brain that is self-reflective when someone is improvising. So when you're creating a musical sentence, what all the musicians that they have scanned their brain have in common is a part somewhere in the frontal lobe that cuts off when you're thinking about yourself. So if you're thinking about how it's going to make you look, or how you feel about yourself, or anything that's self-reflective at all, I think we have good proof that that's it. And you know that's the way it is, because you see kind of freaks that just write on it. There's shit's everywhere. It's because they're not domesticated like we are. You have to undomesticate yourself artistically while staying an upstanding citizen. I think that's very difficult to do. You know, so I'd say, you know, lock yourself in the room, be a complete freak, you know, because we can't do that in normal life. So the fact that we can't, you know, shit out in the street or dry hump stop signs or whatever it is people would normally do for all animals, the fact that we don't do these things so that we can be civilized, also that muscle also squeezes off the things that we think we're not supposed to do artistically, which is wrong. You have to decouple those things.
So, I'm sorry, I'm really nervous.
Oh no, it's okay. I didn't nervous.
Everything. So, hi. So late is about Elegant Smith. Is it ever hard for you to like perform?
It has been before, randomly just, and I don't play it that much, partially probably for that reason. But yeah, I've found it really hard a couple of times, and I didn't expect it to be, but just suddenly something would come up, and that's sad, so sad. And, you know, his death was like, it made me realize what all those, you know, like old cats would say, like at a funeral when they say, what a loss. And then I was like, oh, what a loss. So yeah, I think it's terribly sad still. Yeah.
Okay, so this is so much more shallow than any of these other.
Awesome, I love it.
I told my friends, and independently and collectively, we want to know, did you get your money and your bike
I just saw the subject of that song not long ago. Stood for a couple selfies. She was my roommate for about a year and a half, but the song, the lyrics were written by the drummer.
Darren?
My son, he had really nice arms. My friend saw y'all in Albuquerque and lusted after him for 2 weeks.
Oh, that's awesome.
So tell him if you see him. Nice arms.
Wait.
Yeah, I think he's
Old
probably
drummer
got
or
that
new drummer?
definition back.
Darren.
He had a couple moments there. He started running, and he's looking pretty good again.
Do you still get together with them?
What's that?
Do you still get together with them?
Just by text. We're all pretty busy, and I think, I don't know. We might play together again, but I've got so many things I'm doing now that I can't get to. That reliving the magic is not in my list at the moment. All the Kennedy Center stuff takes a lot of my time. Darren's playing in the band. Robert's a dad, teaches bass lessons, and we've got stuff to do. Next. Yes.
Hi. So, kind of going back to your idea about struggling with ideas kind of that are unknown and this kind of the rate of this inarticulate that you try to tackle in songs, and I want to know how you go about that in your musical brain, kind of on that same vein. Just in writing new
It's a
melodies
great question.
and music.
Make it clarify it for the crazy old piano player.
Yes, no, you're good. In writing a new song,
Yeah, yeah.
how do you think through an idea, but try to play it like in a new melody?
Well, the melody is always sort of the first thing for me. Mostly it is, but then simultaneously I've got other thoughts. All day long I'm thinking of something. I've been, lately it's the voice notes or the little sticky whatever they are, little notes are good. We're keeping kind of observations and words and stuff. I think roughly, if I think of a melody within, say, the same month as a set of general word ideas, they usually just kind of fit together. That's sort of my process, more or less. I think it is useful to have some sense or technique for old-fashioned composition, because at some point you'll get stuck, or you'll try to do something with the melody that was the inspiration, but you'll have to intellectualize it for a moment. It's like you have to go hand-to-hand combat for it. It's not ideal to be writing intellectually, but there are times when you have to do it. The things that you learned in school, like about sequences of notes, motifs, motives, augmentation, diminution of the motif, all that kind of stuff is actually really, really important. Because if you're thinking, wow, I'm hitting my high point, but lyrically I'm not hitting my high point. Is that what I want to do? Do I have another option? And I have other ways of thinking about it then that I can bend it around. And you can see when you start to pull out stuff what the weight-bearing columns might be in the piece. That becomes obvious after a while. But you can pull a lot out of it, which is another intellectual exercise when you're writing, is the elimination. The elimination of stuff with love. I think it's not bad advice to try taking out the thing you love. I've heard people say that before. I used to think it was full of shit, but I think it's right, because you expect a certain thing to happen with the song or something that you're making, and you expect it to happen around this really specific requirement. If you take the specific requirement out, you might realize that the overall picture was more important than that roadblock, stuff like that. Yes, and then this is the last one.
I think it's related to that, but how do you write for your voice, and how do you? So then, not doing that, like, as you, what do you? I guess whenever you have that melody in your head, and then you go about putting it to keys, even from a range standpoint, how do you put that together? Like, put all the pieces together?
Well, I've always started from the assumption that I wasn't a singer, and I just needed to tell the story. And so I don't really have to, I've let myself off the hook for a lot of rules of singing. I always put the melody where I hear it. So if it's too high or it's too low, I just have to deal. Even we were mentioning Sarah Bareilles, and Sarah doesn't have to deal with that for the most part because she's got this incredible range, but that song Brave was just out of it. So she had to go, actually she went to my guy, who's I think one of the better vocal coaches out there, to get her through it. But he's been really helpful with me too because, he understands that I'm not willing to compromise on where the song is supposed to go. So if I need to mix something or whisper it or fake it, I'll just do it. I should write around my voice. I think it would probably be a good idea. I see a lot of people do that. I write stuff and then I'm just
I think you're
utter
doing pretty
dread.
good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
But I look at it with dread because I go, how the hell am I going to do that?
Yeah.
But eventually it just kind of comes out. I know I'm way past. I'll make the.
There's something to get
Because there was really good questions. So if there's any more, yes, sir.
I'm sure somebody asked you this at what does Regina Spektor smell like?
What was the question?
What does Regina Spektor smell like?
Yeah, just like that. Well, I mean, I've never noticed she had BO or anything. She's a pretty natural person. She's not gonna. She doesn't have a whole lot of perfume on or anything like that. She's a good egg. That's a great question, though.
If we're going down the rabbit hole of really terrible questions,
No, we hit the end there.
I made fan art a year ago, and I missed you because you bailed after the concert super fast. And I gave it to somebody who said they were on your tour, and I'm just curious if you ever got it.
Was it me on a white horse?
No, it was a.
Oh, I did get that.
Oh, awesome! I'm so happy you got it. That's
Yeah,
just
and I
confirmation.
remember it too, which is I get a lot of stuff like that, but not like that. Are we doing it? Okay. I'm gonna shut up now. But it was like. Okay.
Does he always wear Do you always wear Band-Aids?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because I played really hard. The fingernails would come off.
Ah.
This is
Yeah,
the
it's
concept admission
not
right
nice.
here. Seems like there should be another some kind of something other than just healing, but like 4 Band-Aids for each hand every time you play the piano.
Well, I think he has 5 fingers. I'm not sure.
You put on your thumb. Oh, you do?
Yeah, I put them on all but these. That's not the finger that looked like this.
I just think there needs to be a product.
There should be, yeah, like finger condoms or
Fingers. Yeah,
something.
exactly.
Safe piano playing. Or 2 different apartments, and there wasn't room for a piano. So soon, when I grow up, I'm gonna have a piano in my house. I don't know. I guess I'll play it. It'll be fun. But I don't have to play as forcefully at home, really, as the kind of the sound I like to get out of the piano in a show just sort of requires it, and it just takes more. Okay, let's see. Well, the first one was that horrible song. Okay.
She wants to sleep, but all that Morgan Davis wants to scream with weep. He waits, and when she turns out the lights, he tiptoes through the darkness and steps into the night. This boring life that he leads of buying and selling stocks makes him feel he's growing old in time. There's no joy, no strife, just a passing time in this boring life. Jazz, a piece of ass.
Let's mention to glove him for a vial of crack.
He cooks his junk and some Gatorade.
With a bag of chronic on the east MLK.
The secret life that he leads of buying and selling drugs keeps him up at night. He's selling hash, screwing trailer trash. Hey, he's making cash. It's all ring.
That's all.
It's a great song.
That's right, yeah. Oh, that's clever. Okay, I think I can get this.
Put your number in it.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's a lot safer. Guys, got the words. Thanks for this. I'm sorry, I forget my own stuff. We didn't really play this very often.
We'll forgive you.
Thank you.
That's why we asked for it.
Why is it not in my gift?
You're not playing it tonight?
Not yet. Oh, is it? Oh, there it is. Bob Brown's song. Okay.
You were stumped.
I didn't put this in alphabetical order. I just forgot the song. Tread slowly from the car to the spa, like a weary war-torn refugee, crossing the border with the starving child. It's a struggle just to get to shiatsu. These are good words. Present the waitress with because I will get this requested, so I do need to know it. Floating back from the car to the spot of the car, a state of bliss, and it was in the steam room. Sometimes life's not so bad. Now we know who's been fucking the crew room. Rock on with the fashion. Yes, I gotta get to that chord. Okay, cool. What's next?
Tom Mary.
Oh, Gracie, that's right, I said it. You can't fool me, I saw you when you came out. You got your mama's taste, but you got my mouth. And you will always have a part of me nobody else is ever gonna see, Gracie girl. It's just a thought, but where did it come from? What will we do with it if it comes back? A note from his assistant there by the telephone. She sees it again as she turns out the lights. Kylie is calling from Connecticut. She says you got the number. Yeah, Kylie is calling from Connecticut. It's back on her mind as she closes her eyes. I need to work that up.
She believes.
I think I got the song. It's the middle. Now I'm not talking
one more song, and I heard Hava Nagila first. So Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila, Nagila Venus Veha. Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila Venus Veha. Havana Ranema, Havana Ranema, Havana Ranema Venus Veha. Havana Ranema, Havana Ranema, Havana Ranema Venus Veha. Some